This is EB3, Speaking the Truth in Love, and I just come on for a few minutes to give you guys a word of encouragement. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. So, what I want to tackle today is learning how to be content and not comparing your relationship, your marriage, your family that God's blessed you with somebody else, what somebody else have. I want to tell you guys a story. So years ago, I've shared with you guys that I was married for 28 years. I was actually in a relationship with my husband for 32 years, which by today's standard, that's a lot. That's a long time. Compared to some people that's been married for 60-something years, 30-something years is not that long, but compared to the people who are only able to be married for 2-3 years, it's a long time. So it just all depends on your perspective. And that's the thing that we want to talk about, perspective. So I don't have a whole lot of friends. I have more associates than I'll say friends. But I was in, there's like this group of us. We all go to the same church at this time. Some of us have, some of the ladies that was in the group have gone to other churches. Them and their families have gone to other churches, but we're still sociable at different times. But during this time, we were kind of click-tight. It was like 4 or 5 women in our age group that we were really click-tight, right? We all were different, though. Like, there was a stay-home mom. It was a mom that only worked part-time and holidays and stuff like that, just to kind of help out with school supplies and birthday presents. You know what I'm saying? Just support when it just happened to be. And then there were some of us that worked full times. One of my friends, who I consider one of my best friends, even to this day, she has worked 2 jobs. Ever since I've known her, I've always admired that, because I always said it couldn't be me, not 2, because it's hard enough to work the one that I work with the hours that I get up. But, I said all that to say, at this time, we were all married, all fairly young, in our 20s, some of us getting ready to go in our 30s. We were all between 25 and 35 during this time. And so, like I said, I have always worked since I've been in a relationship. Since I graduated high school, I have always worked. Before I graduated high school, I only worked summer jobs, because that was just what my mom did. I come from a single parent home for the most part. But most of the ladies that I've been friends with since I've grown up, they come from like the household that I raised my children in, where there's a mom and a dad, right? So some of them, the mom stayed home, and some of them took on the same traditions, which I personally think that's a beautiful thing. If you can do it, hey, I think that is the most important job. Even though I chose to work outside the home, I still believe that is a great thing for a mom to be able to do, to stay home with her children, support her husband, and do the things wifely duties as the Bible tells us to do. I think we all have to make our own choices in life, and each household is different. You may be married to somebody that makes enough money to support what you and your husband feel like you want to give your children, and you may require you might not require a whole lot. And what I mean by that is, you may be content with one car, getting up in the morning, dropping your husband off, and coming back home, and then do whatever you got to do with the children, and go pick him up. Pick your kids up from school and y'all go together and pick daddy up, Or you may be like similar to me, where both of you work. You get up in the morning time, you get up early in the morning time before the break of day, and you drop the kids off to school, daycare at first, and then go to work, get off work together and go to the daycare, pick them up. Or you may be working in two totally different directions, and one of you, or basically one that picked up, whatever your situation is, I always say each household is different. There are some basic things as Christian families that we should have in common. And that is that we are trying to raise our kids in the fear and admonition of the Lord, but we're also being an example to what that is. Not that we don't make mistakes, not that we don't fall short to the glory of God, because all fall short to the glory of God. Absolutely do not base your family's values and worth based all on finances. Money is a necessity, right? If it was not, honey, I just know I wouldn't be working every day. It's not that I just enjoy. I haven't enjoyed every day that I've gone to work. But I will be honest, when I first started working on the job that I work on, I enjoyed it. I was learning something new. It was challenging because somebody had said that, I wouldn't make it. And so my personality is, you tell me I can't make it, I'm going to show you I can, right? And my husband understood that. And so he had been married before. I'm my husband's second wife. So he had been married before. And their circumstances were different because his first wife, she never worked while they were together. I chose to work. My mom worked. She didn't work all the time, but she worked whenever she could. And so I just felt like as a woman, number one, to be honest, I just didn't want to be 100% dependent on him. But that's because of the way I was raised. I was raised in an environment where I saw people leaving all the time. I saw some things. And I just didn't want to put myself in a situation that if this person decided at any given time that they want to leave me, because it was like 10 years before we had children. So I always felt like if he decided he didn't want to leave, he didn't want to be with me no more, I still got to take care of me. That was my purpose of working as hard as I did. And then once the Lord blessed us with children, then now I'm more motivated because I want to be able to do the things that maybe my mom was not able to do. It's not that she didn't want to do those things, but I wanted to be able to do those things. If they wanted to play a sport, I wanted them to be able to play it. And I didn't want it to take from the finances of the household. Paying the mortgage, paying the light bill, paying the utilities, paying those things such as maintenance on the car, the different things, a lot of the things that my husband did. You know what I'm saying? So my life to a lot of people, because of the type of house that we end up living in, the neighborhood and all that kind of stuff, it looked one way, but in all actuality, it took a lot of work. In order to have things, it takes a lot of work and a lot of time. And sometimes in retrospect, even though I'm not going to quit my job right now, eventually I do want to free up more time because that is something you can't get back. So that's why I say, don't compare what you see somebody else. So I was in this friendship, and like I said, it was a whole bunch of us. We were all different. All of us were married. Now there were some friends that I had was separate from them, and some of those women weren't married. But for this story, I'm talking about the married friends. So, like 4 of us worked. We didn't all work the same type of jobs. Like 3 of us worked actually at the shipyard. 3 of us worked at the shipyard. Now the youngest one, back then, like I said, we were all young and we were all learning how to be holy. And sometimes we weren't as holy as we thought we were. We're all still striving to be there. But I remember one of the friends comparing what we had, like the wives that worked with the husband. Because I said it was 1, but I think it was 2. Yeah, it was, like I said, it was 1 that didn't work at all, and it was 1 that worked sometimes. So I remember the one that didn't work, one time she was complaining about what her and her husband didn't have. But keep in mind, her husband worked every hour that he could work to take care of his family. I mean, it's like that was his mission. Now, like my husband, it was his mission. He felt like it was his mission. But she didn't have to do, only thing her mission was, which is the greatest mission, was to take care of home and her children. And that was her mission. But sometimes, and it wasn't all the time, but sometimes she would compare what we all had. Like, all of us had a home. All of us had a home. Some of the homes were bigger than others. We all lived in fairly decent neighborhoods, but like I said, we all had transportation. Some of the cars better than others. Like me personally, I got a nice car. I like nice things, but I will drive a car until I can't drive it no more. Because my thing was, I prefer to have the nice house over the biggest and most expensive car. That is just the way I think. Because I'm going to put more money into the roof over my head versus the car that I'm driving every day. That's just the way I am. Now, some people, different. Again, we're all different. We're all wired different. We all require different things. I personally am not one that's going to be, I like wearing nice things, but I'm comfortable in wearing a t-shirts and jeans or t-shirt and a jean skirt. That's just me. When it's time to dress up, I know how to dress up. I know how to look. I know how to put an outfit together where I'm going to look not really nice. I do. And I know I don't wear a lot of makeup every day, but when it's time to wear makeup, if it's a special occasion, I know how to put it on because I used to sell Mary Kay. So you have to learn how to put makeup on in order to sell Mary Kay. And I was pretty good at it too. But I said all that to say that sometimes she didn't realize how blessed she was because she had a husband that adored her. In his eyes, she was the most beautiful woman in the world, right? I never heard him. He worked in the same job that I worked. And there's a lot of men out there that would be flirting with other women and all that. She didn't have to worry about that. never even came out of anybody's mouth that I know that he was doing any of those things. You know, and that is a blessing to know that you can trust your spouse. Now, and like I said, he worked every hour that he can work. He provided them with transportation. You know, sometimes life happens. Cars break down. I don't care if you can be working, you can be a multimillionaire, your car can break down. That's just a part of life. If it's made by human hands, it's going to break down, right? So, and of course, now, years later, here they are being married for 33, 34 years. All three of their children are grown, up and grown, and it's them and they enjoying life. You know, she might have some hard times here and there, but for the most part, they enjoying life together, empty nesters. And so I say that all that to say, like one of my friends that was in that group that had, you know, the nice house, the nice cars, wore the best clothes. I mean, it was like the sharpest one out of the group. That lady knows she knows how to dress. She probably could have been a designer or a what you call it, one of those people that dress people. I can't think of the word, y'all. Or she could be a buyer or something like that. Because she just has a sense of fashion. And I always thought that was pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm that friend that I don't have any like jealousy or insecurities to the point where I can't appreciate the gifts and the talents that you have, right? But, you know, with all that she did to support her husband, they end up getting a divorce. Life happens. I don't think it was really anybody's fault in particular in certain situations. I think that we all just have to understand that we cannot compare what we have, the life that we have, the mistakes that we make, the spouses that we choose, and the way we conduct life, our everyday life, to somebody else's. Because my experience is my experience. I can tell you my experiences, and you can learn from the good and the bad in my experiences, just like I can learn from you. You know, so be appreciative of whatever God is giving you. Be appreciative of the time that you spend with people every day, even if it ends up in divorce. And I'm not an advocate of divorce, so I don't want you guys to think that. Or if you end up being a widow, whatever your state is, be appreciative of the time that God allowed you to be together. Learn from the mistakes that was made in the relationship, because there's no such thing as a perfect relationship, because number one, we are imperfect people. It's two imperfect people who's been taught by two groups of people, and now you're coming together trying to make a life and become one, like the Bible said. So just enjoy the time that you have together. If by chance it don't last, don't hold on to the bitterness. Let it go. Forgive them. Even if you get where you can't stay, no matter how bad that person was to you. Because some people are living in some people are living in HE double hockey sticks every day. They have people that's belittling them. They have people that's giving them black eyes, breaking their bones, and cheating on them, and doing all these different things. But they living in a big old mansion, they driving a Rolls Royce, or they driving a Beamer, or they driving this or that. They dressed to the T. You know what I'm saying? They got everything that you would ever think you could want. But if they step outside the door and somebody speak to them, they getting slapped upside the head. You know, when their husband come home, they gotta look a certain type of way. Otherwise, they're getting slapped upside the head. They getting talked about. They're getting compared to other women and stuff like that. So, but maybe your house is not as glamorous. Maybe your life is not as glamorous as hers. But you got somebody that love you. You got somebody that respects you. You got somebody that feel like you're the most beautiful woman in the world. It don't matter what nobody else think. You got somebody in your life that feels like you're the most beautiful woman in the world, and love you and love the children that you've given them. Love you whether you can or cannot give them children. All I'm saying is stop comparing your life to somebody else's, because on the outside, looking in, it looks perfect. Nobody has a perfect life. In this life, you're not going to have a perfect life. But what you have is a blessed life. And it's a difference between being blessed and being perfect. Enjoy what you can enjoy. Appreciate what you can appreciate. But most of all, be thankful to God. Because regardless of what you think somebody else have that's better than you, you just don't know how blessed you are. If you have somebody in your life that really and truly cares for you, for who you are, whether you, as you get older, whether you lose weight, gain weight, whether you wrinkle fast, whether your hair get gray and early, whether you have a bad hair day like I have right now, you want somebody that likes you and love you for you. Because you can be married for 30 or 40 years and be miserable every day. Okay? So be thankful if you have someone in your life that loves you. And show them some appreciation. Tell them every now and then that, honey, I love the life that we have. And say it till you believe it. I'm telling you, a whole lot out there is, that grass is not always greener on the other side. So, if God is giving you somebody in your life to make your life better than what it was before, then be thankful unto God and pray for him that God would give him wisdom to lead you and guide you, your family, in the way it should go. Because he's the head, whether you want to believe it or not. But anyway, this has been EB3, Speaking the Truth in Love. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Also, I do a lot of writing. I think I've told you guys before, I do a lot of writing. And I have come up with these journals. Right now, when I was a little girl and when I was a teenager, I did it a whole lot. So I started off with these journals for girls. It's just a blank journal so the little girl can write down her feelings like I used to do. I used to write my prayers and everything. When I get mad at my mama, anything, I just write it down and I be telling God all about it. But and this teenage girls. But anyway, it's on Amazon. Come check it out. It's Corbin Journals. And Corbin, let me tell y'all about Corbin. Corbin is, my maiden name is Corbett and my married name is Bennett. And so we're the Corbett Bennetts. Once I start having children, that's what I always tell my kids. Y'all, that blood mixed Corbett Bennett is something else. So we're the Corbett Bennetts. But that is, what else? But anyway. Anyway, be blessed and be a blessing. And I am out.